A few weeks ago, I talked about one question that is very impactful when it comes to avoiding procrastination. This week, I want to talk about the question I recently discovered that allows me to do the tasks on my to-do list even when I don't feel like doing them. The question that recently turned my lazy day around. I'm really excited to share it with you. Let's go.
Welcome to the Monthly Method Podcast. This is a show for solopreneurs, creators, and artists who have a burning desire to launch a project. This is for a project that is not urgent, but truly important. The one your best life depends on. Your host, Paulina B., is a certified Scrum Master. She brings a proven record of launching successful projects, both professional and personal. You will hear about tested techniques that lead to calm, consistency, and results. Stay tuned to turn your idea into reality 1 month at a time.
Last Monday was the day that made me a full believer in this question. So what happened? Last Monday was a hard day for me. You know, one of those days where you don't want to do anything from the very beginning. You wake up with the thoughts of, not today. Why me? Why now? You probably can relate. Every simple task feels like torture. You overreact to the smallest inconveniences. You feel like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. We've all been there. And personally, I always struggle to turn these days around. I would often just, give up and do the laziest thing I could do that day. And last Monday was the first time I was able to complete all of my tasks for the day, even though I didn't feel like doing that. Even though it was one of those days where from the very beginning, I knew that something was off and I felt very lazy and unproductive. And that was the first time in my life where I was able to turn such day around, to turn a lazy day into a productive one. And that's when I knew that I am definitely onto something big here. Where is the magic, you might ask? It is in the question of, can I? Let me explain. What I found out is that if we replace all our shoulds, have tos, and need tos with the question, can I, something magical happens. Let me give you some examples here. Just listen and see what you feel and how you react to the following sentences. First example, I have to clean the dishes versus can I clean the dishes? Another example, I shouldn't really eat another cookie. Versus, can I just have one cookie and stop after that? Did you see the difference? The difference in state and emotion and your reaction when you use the need to or have to versus using the question, can I? All the shoulds, have tos, and need tos have the underlying idea of being forced into doing something you don't really want. And the more force you feel, the more you want to rebel against it. When you change it into can I question, the underlying concept changes too. It becomes more of a fun challenge or question of pride or character. So when you ask yourself, can I clean the dishes? Your gut reaction would probably look something like, of course I can clean the dishes. Who do you think I am? It's so easy to do. Why even bother asking? Right? Or when you ask yourself, can I just have one cookie and stop after that? Your first thought might be, of course I can stop after eating one cookie. It's easy. Sure, I can do that. And this happens on autopilot. At least for me, I don't know. That's why I'm sharing it with you so that you can try it for yourself. But I find it works like magic. And I think it happens because other people usually ask us this particular question. Can you do insert an activity here, right? And most of the time we say yes. And this creates this habit of saying yes whenever we hear a sentence starting with can you? An example. So let's say your spouse asks you, can you please take out the garbage? You respond, sure, honey, I can. Or let's say an elderly person in the grocery store approaches you and says, "Can you please pass me that sauce from the top shelf or that product?" And you respond, "Of course, here it is." And you do that. It's not an issue. You don't go into should I, shouldn't I, have to, need to, none of that. You don't even stop to think about it. You say, "Sure, here it is. Here's your sauce." Let's think of other examples of when other people ask us the question, "Can you?" And another example that comes to mind is, let's say someone thinks that they're better than you, and this person asks you, "Can you do 20 push-ups?" So let's say it's a bully in a school or something. So in this case, it's more like a threat to your ego, to your pride, to your character, right? And then you say, "Yes, I can do 20 push-ups." Even though it's hard, even though it's unpleasant, you still go and do 20 push-ups just to prove that you can do that. I just showed you different examples. The first one is asking for a favor. Let's say it's your wife or an elderly person in a grocery store. Or the second example was more like challenging your ego and your pride. And in all of the scenarios, your answer is always yes. At least you want that to be. Because if you say no, then you feel off, you feel awkward. Most of the time we say yes when we're asked the question, "Can you?" That's why we're kind of conditioned to do that, even if we ask ourselves this question. So let's look at "can I" in practice. Let's come back to last Monday and see how I used this question to cross out all the tasks I had planned for the day, even though I was utterly not in the mood to do these things. So this was me throughout the day and my thoughts. So I woke up, and of course my thinking is, not today. Okay, you know what, Polina? Maybe I just need to brush my teeth, have my coffee, and I'll have my mojo back. And so I went and had the coffee and did my morning routine, and it didn't work. I still was in a bad mood, and it happens. And, some days are just like that. Maybe it's the weather, maybe it's something else, but I don't know. These days happen. And so, immediate thought that pops into my mind is, let's just write the day off. We can do everything tomorrow. Let's just relax, watch Netflix, eat some sweets and salty stuff, and, let's just take it easy today. And then I was like, okay. Sounds like you have a plan, but listen, can we just walk the dog first? Because, you're taking care of a dog, so better walk it now so that he can do all his business. And so I walk the dog, come back, and I'm still not feeling energized to do anything from my to-do list. And again, that previous part of me is like, yay, so we walked the dog, now it's time to throw in the towel, cancel all the meetings, and just watch Netflix. Let's go. Screw the clients, screw everyone, let's just cancel all the meetings and relax. I look at my daily tasks and I find something that doesn't require too much thinking, but still needs to get done. And for me, it was dropping off some parcels in the post office. That's when I ask myself, can I go to the post office and drop off 2 parcels? And here's the magic of the can I question. The second part of me, the lazy part of me, is like, sure, it doesn't sound too bad. All you need to do is just drive and we can do that. Okay, so I drive, I drop off these packages and I come back, look at the tasks again and find another task. For me, it was to call the bank and set up an appointment. And I ask myself, can I call the bank and set up an appointment? Can I? And the answer is sure. It will only take 10 minutes and I can do it from a couch. So I called the bank, set up an appointment, and that's another task completed from my to-do list. I feel a little better, and I feel like I'm starting to build a momentum here. I look at my task list again, and I see that email that I need to send, that I've been delaying on sending, the type of emails I'm talking about. And so I ask myself, okay, can I just send that email? Can I? And my response is, sure, it's just one email. Why not? And I send it. Another task completed. And at this point, I'm already in my office in front of my laptop, and then I can do some other tasks that I need to do on my laptop from my to-do list. And I find a task, complete it, feel a bit better, move to the next task. And they are growing incrementally in complexity. Even though I started the day with the very easy task of just driving to the postal office and drop my parcels, I ended up completing all the difficult tasks as well that required a lot of thinking and planning and deep work and deep focus. So at the end of the day, I'm looking at my to-do list that had like 10-15 items on it of different complexity, and I'm amazed because I've completed all of them. And it's not that fact, is the fact that I completed all of them even though I was in this really bad mood. I didn't feel like doing them. It was one of those days where all I wanted to do is just cancel all the plans, sit on a couch, watch Netflix, eat some food. But that didn't happen. And that what was so impressive. And the one thing that I did different this time around is I didn't use the I have to or I need to or I should towards my tasks. I used the question can I instead. So instead of saying, oh well, I should write that email, I really need to send that email, I said, can I? Can I just write that email? And maybe it's the ego, maybe it's the pride, I don't know what it is that feels uncomfortable saying no to such a simple task. It's not that I'm being asked to run a marathon, I'm being asked to send a simple email. And of course my answer is gonna be yes. And I'm telling you, I've been using this question for a few weeks now in different situations and it works. So definitely try it for yourself and see if it works for you. So let's recap again and kind of narrow it down into step-by-step instructions on how to turn your lazy day around. Okay, so first you look at your to-do list. Hopefully by this point, if you're listening to my podcast or if you're just generally interested in personal productivity, you have some sort of a system that you follow for your task. It might be a to-do list, it might be a schedule, something. So you look at your to-do list and you find the easiest task. Usually I don't recommend it on a regular basis, but we are talking about this really lazy days where you don't feel like doing anything, where all you want to do is just to cancel things. So this is your emergency plan. I have a very different advice for when you feel motivated, rested, and energized. I would never advise starting your day with the easiest task, but for this particular scenario, we're starting with the easiest task. And you ask yourself, can I do this task? So you insert the task in the can I question and you focus on the can I part. If you're like me, you will feel a slight insult. What do you mean, can I? Of course I can. It's so easy. Who do you think I am? So this is kind of the reaction that we are looking for. Or you can just simply feel like doing a favor when someone asks you for help. Sure, I can do that, not a problem at all. So it's either a slight insult or feeling like doing a little favor that is not a big deal to you. You know, one of these two emotions. And you complete the task and you find the next easy task from your to-do list. And you repeat again, you ask yourself, can I do this task? And again, you might feel your ego speaking up, saying, of course I can. Who do you think I am? And again, you do the task. After the few easy tasks, you feel the momentum build up. The difficulty of the tasks completed will rise incrementally. And so at the end of the day, when you will look at your to-do list, you'll be amazed at how much you get done, even though you wanted to cancel everything from the very beginning. But here's the warning for you, and I want to emphasize this. Please, please, please don't throw your need tos, have tos, and shoulds into the mix. It will ruin everything. You will be back into your victimhood mentality of being forced to do something. Just remember that all your need tos, have tos, and shoulds result in your victim mentality. The question, can I, is the winner mentality or the warrior, depending on what you feel when you ask yourself, can I? But it's a very different energy, because when you say that you need to, have to, or should do something, you're implying that someone else is in control of your life. It's not that you want to do these things, it's because you need to, have to, or should. So someone else is running the show here. But when you ask yourself, can I? Then it's kind of your decision and you're in control. You can say yes or no. Yes, I can do that. And then the control is in your hands. So don't do this. Don't do the mix. Don't do, can I stop eating a cookie? I shouldn't eat too much sugar. It's not good for my health. No, none of that. You just say, can I stop eating a cookie? Question mark. That's it. No explanation on why you should do it or need to or anything. It's just, can I stop eating a cookie? As if someone is genuinely asking if you are physically capable of such a thing. As if someone was asking if you can play guitar, right? Like someone comes in and say, can you play guitar? Not because you have to or need to or should. It's just a simple question. Can you do this? And same here. Can you stop eating a cookie without the agenda of being healthy and all of that? It's like, are you physically capable of doing that? We are wired to say yes whenever we're asked, can you? Use it to say yes to your goals. So to wrap this episode up, I wanted to ask you, are you feeling lazy, discouraged, exhausted? This is when you should stop using all your have tos, need tos, and shoulds. They only add more exhaustion and overwhelm. Believe me, if you're already not doing anything, the have tos and the need tos will not help the situation. Instead, find the easiest task and ask yourself if you can do it. Can I? When you phrase an easy task as a can I question, it sounds ridiculously easy, and you're more likely to say yes to that question. Let our social conditioning and our pride be our friends in turning lazy days around. Hopefully you found it helpful. Really try it for yourself. And if you want to discover the one question I used to fight procrastination, check out the episode I did a few weeks ago that is called The One Question That Stops Procrastination. And it's a very simple mental trick that you can use. And given the feedback that I've received from my readers, from people on Reddit, from my listeners, it really works. So check it out as well. And if you want to see what other tools and mental shifts you can use to achieve your goals, check out monthlymethod.com. The link is in the show notes. I'll be more than happy to help you achieve your goals 1 month at a time. Have a great week, everyone. Please subscribe if you want to have a freshly baked episode delivered to you next Monday. Bye. Hey, before you go, I just wanted to let you know that I'm now working with clients all over the world one-on-one. If you want to see the outstanding measurable results they get in just 3 short weeks, I invite you to check out monthlymethod.com. The link is provided in the show notes. The Monthly Method is a Scrum-based productivity system designed to achieve your goals without consuming all the energy and hours of a day, so that you can have a life you don't need to escape from. If you're ready to quit the hustle culture and bring more intentionality into your life, head out to monthlymethod.com. This is the place where working overtime is not required. Cheers!